Statistics show that 55% of coffee drinkers would rather gain 10 pounds than give up coffee for life. 52% of coffee drinkers would rather go without showering in the morning than give up coffee. And 49% of coffee drinkers would rather give up their cell phones for a whole month than go without coffee. Today I'm going to talk about coffee because coffee is very important, as statistics show. Coffee has been a huge part in my life for over 6 years. I'd find myself needing this caffeinated beverage, and it would be the only way to keep me alert and focused. But is there harm in that? That's what I'm here to answer. Besides drinking coffee, I've written 2 reports on coffee, and I have become very informed and educated on this topic. Because most of you watching are college students, and statistics show that college students consume high quantities of coffee due to the fact that we don't get much sleep, thus making it very important to you to hear about this and become informed on the positive and negatives of consuming coffee. Today I'd like to focus on 2 main points: the physical health benefits and downsides, and the advantages and disadvantages of coffee on one's mental health. Now that we have a better overview of what different aspects I'm going to talk about, let's focus on the pros of consuming coffee. Coffee drinking, a huge part of many of our lives, surprisingly has many benefits that come along with it. Coffee can help a person's overall physical and mental health. A study done over 1.2 million participants, they were evaluated on their cardiovascular disease risk according to their coffee consumption. Compared to the subjects who drank no coffee, research found that 15% risk reduction to those drinking an average of 3.5 cups a day, making coffee a protection provider for cardiovascular disease. Overall, moderate coffee consumption may also decrease the risk of heart disease and stroke. And unlike what most people think, coffee actually regulates the heart rate instead of making it irregular. Studies also have shown that coffee consumption is associated with longer lifespans and reducing risk of dying. It may protect against type 2 diabetes. Another study showed that people who increased the amount of coffee they drank each day by more than 1 cup over a 4-year period had 11% lower risk for type 2 diabetes. Harvard also looked at the relationship between coffee consumption and overall death rate. There was a study that included 130,000 study volunteers. At the start of it, these healthy men and women were in their 40s and 50s. Harvard researched their lives for 18 to 24 years after. They tracked their diet, their lifestyle, and their coffee consumption. They did not find any relationship between coffee consumption and increased risk of death, or by any cause. Coffee can also improve your mental health. Health benefits show that mental health is benefited and thus not leading to death. People with higher intakes of coffee and caffeine are less likely to develop mental disorders like Alzheimer's, and it actually reduces the risk of suicide in men and women by about 50%. Coffee also blocks the inhibitory factor of neurotransmitters. As a result, coffee can increase your mood, your reaction time, and the functions of the brain. Overall, coffee can cause many good things in both the body and mind. After looking at the benefits, now it's time to look at the downsides. Let's take a look at the opposite side of the beverage, the negative. Like almost everything else, along with the positives come negatives. Coffee can cause mental illness like irritation and physical downsides like serotonin dependence. Coffee is a stimulant of the neurotransmitter serotonin, which controls the sleep, the mood, and the appetite. When the body becomes too dependent on caffeine, it impacts the body's natural ability to regulate the healthy serotonin production. Coffee can also increase risk for ulcers, or it can also improve the ulcers that are already there, but it can't cause them. Caffeine dependence is also affecting the mental part of your body. It was named a new mental disorder this year. And once you quit, you can cause pounding headaches, mental fuzziness, tiredness, and it also increases anxiety, depression, and fatigue. Caffeine withdrawal can happen 12 to 24 hours after the last consumption of caffeine and can be resolved within 24 to 48 hours after. Caffeine and coffee also disrupt the sleep patterns. According to the 2001 Sleep in America poll, 43% of Americans are very likely to use caffeinated beverages to combat daytime sleepiness. And a professor who is also an investigator at the Henry Ford Sleep Disorders and Research Center says that you should probably avoid caffeine after 5 p.m. if you want a good night's sleep, because quote-unquote caffeine 6 hours before bed reduces sleep by at least 1 hour during the night. Drinking coffee on a daily basis can disrupt your sleep, and when discontinued to consume, lack of coffee can cause mental issues like anxiety, depression, and headaches. Now that you have all received a better understanding on both the negative and positive effects of consuming coffee on a daily basis, let's conclude. Consuming coffee on a daily basis has both pros and cons. First off, research has shown that drinking coffee can reduce your risk of cardiovascular issues such as heart attack and also stroke. It can play a role in improving mood, focus, and brain function. On the other hand, it causes negative effects as well. For example, coffee can enhance ulcers in the body, and it can disrupt one's sleep schedule. More importantly, like other drugs, when someone stops consuming coffee, many side effects like anxiety, depression, and headaches occur. An article from the Huffington Post in 2011 titled Americans' Coffee Consumption. Fun facts that prove we're hooked stated that Americans consuming 400 million cups of coffee per day, equivalent to 146 billion cups of coffee per year, making the United States the leading consumer of coffee in the world. And that coffee represents 75% of all the caffeine consumed in the United States. Two extreme statistics that show how important coffee drinking is to so many Americans, emphasizing my point on why it's so crucial to know the pros and the cons of consuming coffee on a daily basis. Thank you.